was the same thing. Didn't pick up the call, didn't say call me right back, no text, no nothing. And as a result of that, I am like, now where is Dr. Jerry? And I started to panic. I'm believing that all of us have enough that's gone on in the past, I would say 4 or 5 years, that you know that sometimes people are just like disappearing and you don't know where they are. And that disappearance is like panicking for me. Like, who are we not reaching out to? So I thought the gentleman that I was helping wouldn't call me. Maybe he passed. And he called back in February. He says, Lidy, do you have the answer yet? And I said, I'm going to call Dr. Jerry today. And he answered the phone. And this is what Dr. Jerry said. Lidy, I have to give you an apology. He said, but I thought my life was over. Now, when you have people that you really know that have taken care of themselves and knows everything, and they say that, it was like, tell me more. Why are you answering the phone? What has it be that you can answer the phone today? And you know what he said? I discovered something, but I was laying on the couch. My dog was dying. I'm dying. I need to euthanize my dog, but I don't have the heart to euthanize my dog because I'm dying at the same time. And it was just enough to like take him out. And I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but I will say this. He said, I saw a podcast. I heard something that would be possible for my dog to help my dog. And so I ordered it and I learned something that it would help me too. Now, I believe that Hernan had something to do with some conversation and dialogue during that time. So I said, tell me more. He sent me a video and sent me a website to look at. Now, we're going to hear from somebody in just a second because I know he's got to leave soon. But I want you to know that when you start hearing these stories, what do you do first? So I said, Dr. Jerry, I said, I've heard it. I said, all I want to know is one thing. What's the cost? Because a lot of people want to be well, but they can't afford to be well. Or they are at that point and saying, I can't afford to be well anymore. It's over. And so I want you to know that that's as important to me as does the product work, as it's studied, and what's the cost. So everything started to line up. And I said, Katie, bar the doors. I want the biggest product package that there is. And I'm about to tell everybody. So Keith was one of the people that had called me one night and he said, Lidy, I just hired on a nutritionist because I'm in trouble. And I said, Keith, your body is genius. And you know what? I've got something to create what is called the pathways for that geniusness within you. And when people say that they have this, they have that. Okay, I say, if you have cancer, diabetes, Parkinson's, MS, Lyme's disease, it doesn't matter what the label is. If you could say to them one thing, have you heard about the waist loss program? You have waste in the way. Internally, what's going on in the internal part of the body shows up on the external. And Keith proceeds to tell me, I have that story. So Keith, would you please open up and would you tell the story about what was going on for you? You look fabulous, by the way. Keith, over to you.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, appreciate you inviting me on tonight. So about 4 years ago, after I had a major intestinal surgery from way back when I was first born, there was a problem with my gut, and they did an operation. And that operation was very successful. And within a few months, a very mild case of psoriasis that I had at the time disappeared. And it made me realize there's something about what they did in that surgery that cleaned out my system that made my skin clear up. So fast forward 3.5, 4 years later, it returned. And it returned much worse than it ever was back then. It was very mild back then. And over the last 3 to 4 years, it's been gradually getting worse and worse and worse. And if you don't know what psoriasis is, it's a very annoying, itchy, red, scabby, white, scaly stuff that you'd be embarrassed for anybody to see. And so thankfully, it was not visible on my face or my hands. Mostly it was on my torso, but it began to get worse and worse to the point that in February, it's so aggressive that it is starting to be visible on my hands and on my neck and other places. And literally was about 80% of my body now had this psoriasis problem. And I was so desperate, I had called a nutritionist to say, I've got to do something. It's either the food I'm eating or I'm not sure what it is, but you got to fix me. And that's the same time I heard from Lidy. And so while the nutritionist was figuring out what my diet needed to be, I ordered this amazing product that I wanted to start trying after she had shared it with me. And I started taking it. And I had not started my nutritional change with my nutritionist yet, but I saw a transformation within 3 weeks. My body was ridding itself of the psoriasis and my skin was becoming like baby soft skin. And as of today, I'm about 98% clear of the 80% that was overtaking my life. And it's like getting your life back. Because literally I feel in my body that my immune system has been corrected, and it was corrected in the way that it could self-heal, which is what we're designed to do the way God made us.
Wow. So Keith, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you took the Coriolis Versicolor
Yes.
and the Enforce, the green label,
Yes.
and people like to know, what did you take? Can you speak to that?
Yeah. So I was taking 3 in the morning when I would first get up, and then I would take 3 at night when I would go to sleep. And I did that consistently every single day. And within 2 weeks, I started noticing real change. Within 3 weeks, it was exponentially changing. And again, like I said, as of now, you can barely detect anywhere I have any type of psoriasis on my body whatsoever. I have a very limited, mild spot or two here and there. And even my skin, I had a lot of dry scalp as well, and that's also cleared up in the process.
Beautiful. I know that a lot of people actually use the body balm when they have dry issues and scalp and so on. And we're going to hear another story in a minute from somebody else that actually used these same products. But the key point is the flagship product. Keith used the flagship product. He has a very small frame. And as a result of that, you just heard his story. And I love the fact that, Keith, that you have before and after pictures. So I'm going to invite everybody, whenever it is that you start your journey, if it is that you have like some things like warts, you might have some skin tags, you might have something that's abnormal. It might not be like the norm, or something you've had for a very long time. And I'm going to invite you to take a picture, because you are just going to be probably amazed at what's the rest of the story. Keith?
Yeah, and also I want people to understand that over the 3 or 4 years, I was trying everything under the sun. I was taking probiotics. I was taking gut cleanse. I was taking any type of salve that I could put on, lotions, potions, you name it. I tried everything I could find under the sun, and none of it ever made a single difference. It just got worse and worse and worse. This was the first time any product had any impact, and boy, did it have the kind I needed.
Mm. So you embrace the challenge, to erase the challenge. And I'm going to say, because it is going to help course correct that which is off course, because it's an immune modulator. Your immune system is over your entire body. You can have digestive system, you can have neurological system, you can have, let's call it any type of system in your body. It doesn't matter. It actually, the immune system is overall everywhere. It's in every cell, and it's innate nature. Your body is actually trying to course correct all the time, but it gets to the point of where we have excess, overload, toxicity. Dr. Hulda Clark talks about that in her book. She says, a cure for all diseases. And the cure for all diseases, Dr. Hulda Clark even talks about universal allergies. She says that allergies, anybody that has allergies, you might just say, maybe I got a list of people that have some allergies. I want you to hear this. She says, allergies is a disabled liver. Extreme allergies is extreme disabled liver. And so Keith was trying to figure out as to whether he had some digestive issues or some sensitivities to food. Did you hear what that body did? It went to work and it course corrected. So,
Yep.
Keith, the best doctor in the house, the number one doctor, is your immune system. And you want to help that immune system have all the support it gets to have. And it says deliver the results, right?
Yep.
Check, right? Done, like that. And so I love that fact. But it's, again, Keith, I know you have to leave for another event. I appreciate you being on. And I'm going to read something to all of you on this call. So it says here about Coriolis versicolor. It's a mushroom. It is one of the over 200 different varieties of a turkey tail. Coriolis versicolor is not, and a lot of people say, I already take mushrooms. Might I just say this to you, that this is very different. This is actually the mycelium stage of the mushroom growth cycle. It's before it goes through the surface. This is the surface. Before it goes to the surface, this is the mycelium stage. And they were able to figure out how to harvest it at that stage. Now, key point. When I think about mushrooms, I've been in 3 mushroom farms in my lifetime. There's something about the mushroom farm. It's dark, it's moist environment, and it has an odor. And I asked the people that, and one of them was our relatives in the Netherlands. I said, why such an odor in here? They said, well, because this fungi actually eats decomposing matter, compost. I said, oh. And so when I heard this story, I put all these, 2 and 2 together. For me, went light bulb. Toxins are compost in our body. Oh, so do we really have something that's going to support, escort of toxins? And I got so excited because, yeah, weak tissue decomposing, weak cells are, looking to cluster together. And, here we are today understanding that there's something for us. It is not a formula. There's no ego in this conversation. Somebody didn't put a formula together. It's God's formula, if you want to say it right. And he kept the best kept secret below the surface. And it's actually, when it goes into our body, so if it's harvested at that stage, here's what happened for me. It's actually hungry at that stage before it has to have forced through that surface, right? So if it's hungry, when it goes into this body and it begins to actually live in an environment where it's dark and it's moist, well, then it's going to go eat a lot and it's going to start. And that's how you support the immune system. You get the garbage out of the way and the immune system says, hey, game on. So that was my listening. So I want to read this to you because I think this is exciting. It says that it's the most widely studied supplements for its immune building properties. Worldwide, there have been over 400 animal and human studies on Coriolis versicolor with over a dozen placebo-based human trials conducted in the West. Traditionally, now what a placebo is that they don't know if they're getting the placebo or if they're getting the real thing. So when they do that, they take the, mind out of the equation, say, and so if it could be that it's made up in their mind that there could be something happening. And so, and all of these different institutes had the same kind of results. So listen to this. It says that they did this placebo, over a dozen of them, and then traditional Coriolis versicolor mushroom is known as this yunzin or cloud mushroom in China. And it's been used in China for several thousands of years. And it's for its immune boosting properties and capacities. So, and so if it has all that capability, and so what they did is they isolated the one that had the highest PSP and PSK, that's the polysaccharide peptide, and the polysaccharide crestin. And they figured out how to extract that with a proprietary process. And all these different institutes started to take a look at this. So, because people had these amazing results. And that's kind of how the company got started. And I think, Hernan, you might even be willing to maybe share that beginning of the story. So, as it says here, that as a result of this polypeptide PSP and PSK, that they were able to actually have a lot of the different studies that they looked at MD Anderson, University of Texas, Loma Linda, University of Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, that is the Harvard Medical School Hospital, the University of San Diego, Sloan Kettering Center, New York, Bastyr University in Kenmore, Washington, and that's just to name a few. Now, where can you find these studies? mushroomstudies.co. I love studies. And I like to look at them. And so take a look at what that is. mushroomstudies.co. And I'm going to open up the call right now to Hernan. Hernan, if you would be so kind as to maybe just share with people the beginning of the story, and you share your testimonial as well. Hernan, I'm asking you to unmute if you'd be so kind. Thank you, Hernan.
Thanks, Lidy. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So Simon's mother, Simon is one of the owners of the company. Simon's mother had cancer, and of course, Simon was desperately looking for answers. Let the whole family know what was going on. It just so happened that his cousin in Japan was working with a group of doctors with this particular strain of this mushroom, and they were having incredible results with people that had cancer. So he suggested that he would send some of the product to Simon for his mother to take. And after a month, she went back to Sloan Kettering. She was going to Sloan Kettering in New York. After a month, she went back, and they couldn't find the cancer markers in the blood. And that's what started the whole thing. That's what started the first study. That was like 20 years ago. And since then, there's been 400 studies on this particular strain of mushroom. And this is what started the whole thing in the beginning. They actually made a product for humans, and the results were staggering. They actually got a little bit spooked because of the results that people were having from taking the mushroom, this particular strain. And so this is when they made the transition to animals, to pets. And they pulled the human product back, and they released this line of pet treats with the mushroom in it. And then the pets were having such incredible results that the pet parents started eating the mush puppies, started eating the biscuits. They wanted to feel like their dog was feeling. They could see the difference, huge difference in their animals. And they thought, man, if this is doing this for my dog, what would it do for me? And they started to call and email the company asking if they could put it in a human product, because it was doing incredible things. And so they of course, tested it on humans before they gave it to animals. And so they agreed, and they re-released the human product. And now it's about 50-50, 50% human, 50% animals. And the results have just been absolutely incredible. So when I first heard about this, I was shocked. And I thought, boy, if this is real, if this stuff really does what they say it does, because I'd heard 2 or 3 different stories about the C word. And I was already looking for something that would protect the family from the next virus. I had gotten the virus. It was really bad. I had it like 3 times, and it put me down for months. I was unable to do anything for months. It took forever to get back to normal. And so I was looking for something that would protect the family. But when I heard the stories about this particular strain of this mushroom, I thought, man, I've been in network marketing for 52 years. And I thought, boy, wouldn't it be something if this was actually available in a network marketing format? But I couldn't find any phone numbers. I couldn't find any emails. It was unbelievable how it wasn't really out there. And so through my digging, I met Kurt and Kristen because of all of the digging. I was searching for somebody that can answer all my questions for a couple weeks when I met Kurt and Kristen. And a first question was, is this network marketing? And he said, yes, it is. And I thought, hallelujah. I thought, this is fantastic. So anyways, it's been a heck of a journey. These people that I had, where I had listened to these stories, they were taking a loading dose of 5 twice a day. Some were taking more, 5 3 times a day. And I still hadn't recovered 100. I still wasn't 100% from being sick with the virus. So, and I had other things that I was dealing with. So I started taking 5 in the morning, 5 at night. And I started January 14th. That's when I received my product. It took 2 weeks to get it because of the fires in California. The shipping was way behind because of the fires. So when I got it in the evening, I took 5 capsules, woke up the next morning, and it felt fantastic. I couldn't believe what a difference it had made just overnight. I was shocked. And I thought, of course, it was all in my head, right? So I just kept it to myself. And the next morning, I took 5 more. That night, I took 5 more. And one thing that I noticed right away is that I wasn't having to go to the bathroom every hour. I was only going maybe twice a day. And I thought, this is incredible. I was in disbelief. I thought it was just wishful thinking. I wished it upon myself. I wanted so badly to feel better that I just, that it wasn't real. 3rd day, 4th day, that night, I slept all the way through the night. I thought, okay, this is really happening. I think this is really happening. I think this is real. And that's when I called Kurt and Kristen. I said, I gotta talk to you guys because I'm not sure if I'm really experiencing this or if it's all in my head. And when I told them what was happening, the energy, the clarity, the way I was sleeping at night all the way through, I thought, and they, it's funny. The big thing was being in better control of my prostate. So I wasn't having to run to the bathroom all day long, every hour. And they both at the same time started laughing. And they said, oh no, they said, we hear this all the time. And that's when I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. And that's when I got on the phone and started calling everybody. I realized this is something that everybody needs to experience. And we all need protection right now. We need protection from the invaders that are out there. This last run with this virus really did a lot of harm to a lot of people, and we need the protection. So I'm on a mission. It's been an incredible journey, guys. It's absolutely unbelievable. Anyways, Lidy, that's my story, and that's kind of how things have unfolded over the past 20 years.
I cannot even tell you how many people are so excited about your story, Hernan, because of the fact that when you talked about prostate for the first time, and I know that every single person knows a male somewhere that's got prostate issues. Once they start getting up, and your story inspired somebody that called me a few days later and said, "Listen, I'm in trouble." And he says, "I've been getting up uh, all night, 10, 11 times for 15 years. I haven't slept, but I'm suicidal." And I'm going to say this to you. I mean, these are stories, and when you begin to hear this and you feel hopeless, I want you to know that here's what you need to say. Have you heard about the weight loss program yet? And then just let them understand that there's something here that they can just simply swallow. These little tiny capsules, going to start managing these major problems. I like to say, do the minimum to get the maximum. Do this little thing to get this much bang out of the buck, right? That's how you got to think through this. And so I know that we're basically out of time at this moment, but I want you to understand, help people understand that one little bottle, 60 capsules that cost $39, you can afford to be well. And we have somebody that's actually thought that they're supposed to take 20 capsules the first day and only got to 19, and their eyesight changed and stigmatism's gone. You're going to hear these kind of stories. And I want you to know that there is nothing impossible. The only thing that's left to say is yes. How do I get your link? Because the only way you get to get product from this company is you have to get it from somebody that has a link. And the person that invited you to this call, that's their link that they're going to lead you to. And you can go to shop and become a customer and get the same conversation price as somebody that's an influencer. If you're an influencer and you want to be that voice, then the company has rewards for you. They have financial rewards for you. And as you are going to be the recipient of those rewards, if you want to help more people, the greater rewards. And so I really like the fact that the interface of it, some people say, well, I'm not so sure that's my website. It doesn't even look like it's so-and-so's website. Actually, it looks like you're leading them to Pet Club 24/7. But it's your link gets them there. And you pay $15, $14.99 a month to be an influencer, to have your website with a back office, and for you to be able to navigate and help people. And furthermore, get what is called an app, a very classy app. So that's the cost. It's not even a requirement for auto ship or smart order. You can become your own customer, and you need 2 customers. Now, I've said a lot, and I know that these calls are designed to pour into you what is called possibility. And once it is that I'm grateful, Hernan, that you looked into things. I love the fact that mushroomstudies.co is available for us to be able to go and look at the research, and that there's 5 products that are in the bottles, but there is coffee, and the flagship product is, everyone, enforce, to enforce the system. And so think of enforce. And coffee is incredible. I know. If you're a coffee person, I'm going to call this gourmet coffee. And if you know anybody that's a coffee snob, you ought to call them, because this is the coffee for that person. It is smooth and it's mold free, certified mold free. You can't even drink other coffee after this. I promise you. I have friends that actually are not coffee drinkers, and they love this coffee. They said, I'm going to start drinking coffee. I love this coffee. And so there's decaf, there's regular, and there's also gummies. Some people like gummies. There are cookies. There are cookies. Even the mush ponies. My father eats the mush ponies. And they're apples and carrots, and it's all organic. And it's got glucosamine, chondroitin. You've got joint problems, go for the mush ponies. They're incredible. So thank you, Hernan. for being on the call with us this evening. Thank you all for joining us. And I know that you are that kingdom ambassador. You are going to be that messenger, be the voice. Thank you again for joining us. And this was my first time on a Zoom call managing this operative side. So I want to just say blessings and have a great week. We'll be back on Tuesday and Thursday, same call, same time. And Dr. Jerry will be with us. Thank you all.
Good
Thank you,
job,
Lidy.
Liddy. Good job.
job.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thanks,
Yes.
Lidy.
Bye.
Night night.
Night night. Recording stop.